Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight, we're going to be hanging out for a couple of hours and I have a bunch of different things that I want to talk about. Some updates to situations that I've previously discussed, some new things, lots of Marvel, lots of TV show and movie news, but I do have a video game topic in here. I feel like over the past week, I don't know why, but I just feel like it's been all movies. And I guess a part of that is just because, like, Spider-Man came out and everyone's super excited for it. And leading up to the holidays, there's other movies coming out like Matrix Resurrections. Both topics that we're going to talk about tonight. But we're going to be discussing Cowboy Bebop. You guys know I've covered Cowboy Bebop quite a lot on the channel, and I think the news with it is finally kind of settling down. I don't really think there's going to be much else to talk about in the future unless they suddenly decide to greenlight a season 2. I think that the show, now that it's been canceled, it's over, it's done with, I feel like the actors are going to kind of stay quiet. There's not really going to be any more news, but I wanted to specifically talk about this statement made by Shakir, who played Jet Black on the show, and he was talking about maybe the haters and the critics got us, and maybe it just wasn't as good as we thought. Clearly, it wasn't as good as you thought if you thought it was good in the first place, because it got canceled. It's got awful ratings right now. I mean, I guess we're not talking Santa Inc. awful ratings, but we're talking pretty fucking awful ratings. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Rewrite Plus. It's a visual novel that, unfortunately, is going to be featuring content changes.
Donated $25.
Thank you for the $25.
Looks like you were right about Sakai Project, and I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit it.
Well, thank you for the $25. Much appreciated. Yeah, I am going to be talking about that. Unfortunately, guys, another game, another visual novel, more censorship. And I want to talk about this. I might do a video on this just because I haven't made a video on it yet. But Sakai Project announced on their Kickstarter page for the physical and digital release that it is sending Steam keys to backers. And, of course, it's going to feature content changes. I wish that I could say I was surprised. Truly, genuinely, I'd love entertainment to just be left alone, things not be censored, toned down. But it happens, and every time it happens, here I am talking about it. Just really disappointing to see so much good entertainment be just fucked over. I want to talk about two Marvel topics. One is going to be The Punisher, because we know how Marvel is. We know how comics are, how entertainment in general is, and The Punisher is not safe. Because The Punisher is now getting a new, completely reworked skull symbol after there was backlash last year. Of course, when the character's co-creator put on social media this post, "I'm looking for young comic book artists of color who'd like to participate in a small fundraising project for BLM to reclaim the Punisher skull as a symbol of justice rather than lawless police oppression." That was a situation that had blown up on social media, and I did talk about it back when it happened, but Marvel has decided now is the time to change the Punisher's symbol. I wish I could say I was surprised. We're also going to be talking about Spider-Man. Spider-Man released this weekend. There's been a lot of news. I've talked about it in one video and 2 live streams now, but Spider-Man's No Way Home box office numbers have been really, really good. And of course, it's obliterating Kevin Feige's MCU Phase 4 installments. Now, you guys know No Way Home isn't just Marvel. It's not just Disney Marvel. It's Marvel and Sony. And apparently it's paying off, because this movie is doing absolutely amazing in the box office right now. No surprise. They did what fans wanted. They gave fans everything we asked for, and it's paying off for them. And I wanted to briefly talk about Matrix. I did make a video on Matrix Resurrections, but the critic scores are in. And it's very mixed right now. So this is showing a 70%, right? 70% isn't bad, but it's not 100%, that's for sure. And all of the reviews that I am seeing on social media for Resurrections have just been negative. So many critics reviewing it, putting out their thoughts, like IGN. Now, I don't go to IGN for my movie reviews. I watch movies if I want to form my own opinions. But IGN gave it a 4. A 4 out of 10. That is absolutely atrocious. And there have been so many critics that have just said they tried, but it's just not good enough. So those are the topics we're going to discuss. Welcome everyone to the stream. Hope your evening's going well. And yeah, we'll get started in a minute or two. How are you all doing? The new Punisher logo is so incredibly stupid. The original one is so iconic. I agree. I think that when you start changing logos for characters and changing their symbols, it gets really messy because while yes, I think that characters can go through, you know, new phases and like their costumes be updated, their looks be updated for sure. But when you're changing something like a symbol, people do not like that, obviously, because when you see the skull, you think of the Punisher. And again, like changing color schemes or maybe slightly changing armor is one thing, but when you're changing the symbol of a character, especially because you're doing it to please outrage mobs, that's pretty fucked. So, again, it's disappointing. I don't support comics for a reason now. I don't support mainstream comics for a reason. I wonder why. Couldn't be because they're fucking around with characters like the Punisher, right? I just don't understand how they don't see how much people dislike this stuff. I know that they're trying to please certain groups of people on the internet by making these changes, but it's just so stupid. That's the best way to say it. It's so disappointing and dumb. It's like it's a logo. It's a symbol. It's a skull. Is it really that offensive? Fuck no. Jerry Conway ruined his own creation. Very true. He did have a hand in this. Because he was the one that made the post last year. And of course, started a huge controversy and a huge discussion around the symbol. And is kind of saying, yeah, we should change it. Why shouldn't we? Let's reclaim it. It's good for you. I hope that all those non-sales really pay off for you. Because that's what's going to happen. The people that they're changing these symbols for don't actually care about the symbol itself. It's not like they're buying comics. It's not like they're supporting this industry. Greetings all, it's Tuesday and that means conversation. Very true. Very true. There's a lot to talk about tonight. I was thinking about maybe doing another discussion type stream tomorrow too, but I don't know. We'll see. The streaming schedule this week's gonna be a little odd. I'm streaming tonight, guys, obviously, and I'm streaming tomorrow evening, but I will not be streaming Thursday or Friday, but then I'll be back over the weekend for a stream. Those people don't buy enough comics, I would ignore them. That's the thing, is that we're not talking about people who want things to change for the better. We're talking about people that complain about anything they see on social media and don't support products, even if things are changed. That's the giant problem with this. It's not like, you know, many fans were getting together saying, we think the symbol should be changed. They're listening to a very vocal minority of people on social media who are outraged at literally anything and will still not buy the product because they're gonna go, oh, well, you know, last year and all the years before, oh, it used to be that way. It used to be that symbol, and because you created that symbol in the first place, no, we're not gonna support you even if you do change it. We're not talking about people who are willing to give companies and products multiple chances, which is the issue. It really is. But alright, you guys, let's get started with the first topic of the evening. We are going to be talking about Cowboy Bebop. I think we're going to go Cowboy Bebop, censorship, Marvel, and then briefly talk about Resurrections. There's not a lot to discuss with Resurrections just because I did a video on it. We don't really have any other news, but it's not looking very positive. So, this is a Bounding Into Comics article. Netflix's Cowboy Bebop star Mustafa Shakir on series cancellation. Maybe the haters and the critics got us. Maybe. It wasn't as good as we thought. Now, when it comes to Cowboy Bebop, you all know my stance has not changed on it. At first, I tried to give it a chance. Leading up to the release, I had a lot of worries. I really didn't think the description of the show and what they were changing sounded good. I didn't like the costumes. I didn't like a lot about the series, but I was still slightly, I guess we'll say, hopeful. I was gonna give it a chance when it released, and I did. I watched the entirety of live-action Cowboy Bebop. I did try to give it a shot, but unfortunately, it turned out to be a bit of a disaster. I really wasn't that impressed with it. The sets looked really low budget, really thrown together last minute. The costumes didn't look great. The acting in most cases was just mediocre. They changed around characters' personalities, which I didn't like. They changed around the story a bit, which I didn't like. Overall, I just didn't think that it captured the essence of the original Cowboy Bebop anime. But hilariously, there are people who cannot accept the fate of Cowboy Bebop live action, and like the actors coming out, some of them are attacking fans over the cancellation, some of them are attacking Netflix over the cancellation, but Shakir, who played Jet Black, in one of his initial statements basically said, "The haters and the critics got to us, and maybe it wasn't as good as we thought," and it's such a shame to see actors try to cope by attacking fans, attacking critics, because I actually thought that he did a decent job. I didn't think that he did a bad job. I felt like out of the main three, he was the one I actually had the least amount of problems with. I didn't like Faye. Daniela Pineda, in my opinion, did not fit Faye. While yes, sometimes she did an okay job, most of the time I wasn't really impressed. I thought that her outfit looked terrible, and I like John Cho as an actor, do not get me wrong, but I feel like he was too old to play Spike. Spike is supposed to be 26 or 27, and John Cho is 50 years old, so I just felt like, unfortunately, he didn't really fit the Spike character, and I actually felt like Shakir did a decent job with Jet Black in the character that he was given. But it says, in light of its damning 3-week lifespan, one of the stars of Netflix's Cowboy Bebop has begun to mull the idea that rather than the haters and the critics, the series' abrupt cancellation was caused by the fact that it wasn't as good as we thought. Not to rub it in, guys, but clearly it wasn't as good as they thought, because it got canceled after only 3 weeks. That is hilarious to me. Because usually we don't hear about cancellations for a while. They try to let series live on for a little bit. They'll cancel it maybe 2-3 months later. It didn't even survive a month. And Netflix ultimately decided, you know what? We're gonna cancel it. We're not gonna do another season, which I honestly still think is a bit of a PR stunt. I truly and genuinely believe Netflix planned to greenlight season 2 and is still going to greenlight season 2. And all the controversy around social media about it being canceled is just to stir up conversation about it to get people to go and watch it and leave it positive ratings. I mean, there's a petition right now with 40,000 signatures to bring back the live-action Cowboy Bebop, and I think that we're gonna see in a couple weeks Netflix come forward and say, you know what, we really listened to fans, it inspired us, we're gonna give it a season 2. Maybe it's a bit of tinfoil hat, okay? Let me whip out the roll of tinfoil, right? I think it's gonna happen. I think that this is all just a big stunt, and in like 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, we're gonna see them greenlighted again. I don't know. Maybe not. I'd like to be wrong. just a little suspicious. Anyway, it says Shakir's explained his realization on December 10th, the day after the streaming giant officially announced that they would not be moving forward with any more seasons of the ill-fated live-action anime adaptation, in accompaniment to an Instagram post shared in reflection of his time as the Bebop's de facto leader, Jet Black. Again, I don't think that he did that terribly out of the main actors. And I'd say Ed is a main actor, but Ed was literally in like 3 minutes of it. But it says, what a cool opportunity, right? He wrote, I got to play Jet Black. I'll never not be him, so to speak. That's badass to me. Netflix went balls to the walls for us in order to get it done. They really looked out for us when shit hit the fan, but at the end of the day, business is business, and this was a big ship that needed a lot of fuel. Maybe the haters and the critics got us. Maybe it wasn't as good as we thought. All I know is that we got done this under the craziest conditions, and I'm proud of what we did. Thank you for dreaming with us. See you, Space Cowboys. Now, he says in here, you know what, Netflix stood by us, Netflix supported us, and that's good. It is good that a company is supporting their actors, their crew, their workers, that they're supporting anyone that works in their company. From people doing lighting, to design, to actors that you actually see on screen. Companies should be supporting their workers. But I think that companies also need to realize the workers that are causing them more harm than good, like someone like Daniela Pineda. I'm not saying that she should have been kicked off of this project. I'm not saying let's cancel her. Not at all. She's in the show. It is what it is. But a giant reason why a lot of people didn't want to support the show is because you had writers going on social media attacking fans who didn't like an outfit. You had actors and actresses going on social media attacking people saying, oh, you know, we're so sorry we didn't do it your way, but we just wanted things to be more inclusive and look better, and a real human being had to wear that outfit. It's funny because the producer who actually said we have to have a real person wearing Faye's outfit has me blocked on Twitter. Apparently my opinions as a woman aren't valid. But that's a problem, is that companies need to realize that when you have people behind a project going on social media attacking people you expect to turn on a TV to watch a show, those people are not going to show up to watch your project and to support your project. And I think that was a big reason why the show failed. I don't think it was the only reason at all whatsoever. I think that Cowboy Bebop failed for, well, live action Cowboy Bebop. You guys know, I don't have to fucking specify. I think a giant reason why Cowboy Bebop failed was because of the way that actors, producers, crew were acting towards fans. But I think that overall it just didn't come together. It's like they, at times during the show, wanted to stay true to the source material, and they wanted to make it a really good live action because there were parts that felt really genuinely Cowboy Bebop. The CGI was absolutely fucking fantastic. Some of the acting was okay too, like in episode 1 or 2. It's like episode 2, I think. Like when Faye is locked in the bathroom. She's talking with them outside the door. They're all bickering at each other, and then they walk away and she goes, hey, guys, it came off as classic Faye. All of that interaction came off really well. But unfortunately, when you've got 10% good acting and 90% poor acting, it doesn't save a show. And I feel like they, again, at times throughout it tried, they just only tried like 10 to 20% of the time, and the rest of the show just ended up being very, very mediocre content. I felt that it could have gone somewhere, but it didn't go there. I truly expected them to greenlight a season 2, simply because, let's be realistic, they only needed one more season to tell the rest of the story. Even though with season 1 they started to go off of the original story and they were trying to veer off a little bit, they really only needed one more season with 8 episodes to finish Cowboy Bebop, and they could have been done. But of course, they didn't do that. They didn't try hard enough. And again, I think that this is a problem. Actors going on social media saying maybe the haters and the critics got us. No. There are very few outright haters that were part of this situation. Of course, they exist. There's people who just want to stir the pot and cause controversy and get everyone mad and upset. But you have way more people who are criticizing your product because we're allowed to. I mean, I'm a fan of Cowboy Bebop, the original anime, and so I went into this with a critical view of it because you're taking something very nostalgic, something very beloved, and you're basically just reviving it to milk it for money. And it's like you didn't even try to stay true to the source material. So that's all that I really had to talk about with that. Of course, absolutely no surprise. He's going on social media saying, maybe the haters and critics got us. Yeah. Critics did, unfortunately, pan your show because it just wasn't good. And then he says, maybe it wasn't as good as we thought. Clearly it wasn't as good as you thought, or else it wouldn't have gotten canceled after only 3 weeks of being released. So that's all that I really have to talk about with Cowboy Bebop, and we'll move into the next topic in a minute or two, which is gonna be censorship. Yay! Wow, what a such more positive topic, guys. Listen. Can we just stop changing content in games to try to please specific groups of people who aren't even going to buy your fucking products? That's the worst part, is it's not like they're changing things because real fans wanted them to change things. No. They're not even. They're changing things because they want to look like they care about social issues and making statements on social media. It's like, come on, guys. What's happening? Oh, Cowboy Bebop? Yup. We moved on from Cowboy Bebop, though, just because it was a statement I had already kind of talked about once, but I wanted to kind of reiterate my thoughts on it. I don't really think we're going to hear anything more about Cowboy Bebop, but I do want it to be known. This tinfoil hat theory, I said it like 2 weeks ago, and I truly and genuinely think this is just a massive fucking stunt. And in like 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, Netflix is going to put out a statement saying, you know what, we heard everyone's wishes, we're gonna greenlight season 2 of Cowboy Bebop, continuing this amazing cruise story. I think we're gonna see it. I do. I think that in like a month they're just gonna greenlight season 2. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. I'm a woman though, so come on guys, I'm never wrong. Let's be honest. Netflix, I know you're gonna do it. Just do it. They could announce it on Christmas. Merry fucking Christmas, everyone. Cowboy Bebop season 2. What do you think? Sounds like a great idea, don't you think? Vera, where's your tinfoil hat? I know I need to make one up. I'm gonna start selling decorated tinfoil hats. How about that? Netflix, keep Cowboy Bebop canceled. I know, and that petition is still going. Cowboy Bebop petition. There's a petition to keep it canceled, but there's also a petition to revive it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, guys. There are a lot of people who have signed this petition. There are a lot of people who have signed this petition, guys. I mean, I'm just gonna keep it a stack. It's not like there's no one. Like, there's 60,000 individuals. Well, maybe half are bots. We'll say like 20,000 are bots. There's at least 40,000 real individuals who want this show revived. I don't know, guys. I think that this is a perfect recipe here. You've got people talking about it on social media. Oh my god, people are so upset the show got canceled. We have a petition with 60,000 signatures. The holidays. Perfect time to announce something being revived. I think, I don't know, tinfoil hats, that this seems a little bit suspicious to me. Also, since they canceled it, the rating's gone up like almost 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. From people who were supposedly really upset it got canceled. We'll see, guys. I'm keeping my eye on it. Cowboy Bebop Season 2 should only be released in a Blu-ray bundle with High Guardian Spice. They did like a event a couple weeks ago or something when they were like announcing new shows and seasons to shows, and they didn't talk about High Guardian Spice at all. I haven't heard anything about High Guardian Spice. Guys, the creator of High Guardian Spice also has me blocked on Twitter. I'm seeing a pattern. Producer Cowboy Bebop blocked me. High Guardian Spice creator blocked me. Someone else on High Guardian Spice also has me blocked. And they don't seem to be blockchains. But... oh, guys. We'll see. Maybe this is like a theme. Whenever someone blocks me, they don't get their show. Their show doesn't get a second season. Maybe it's a curse. You're obsessed, you can't stop talking about it. Talking about what? Cowboy Bebop? I'm not obsessed with it. I've talked about it once this week. It only released 3 weeks ago. I've made like 1 video a week on it since it released. And before it released, I made like 5 videos on it. So I've made less than 10 videos on Cowboy Bebop. That doesn't seem very obsessed to me. That doesn't seem very obsessed to me. That just seems like someone who's criticizing a product because it was a bad product. I don't know. Listen to women until they disagree with you. Best advice. Yes, Netflix, go ahead and waste more of your money. Again, I genuinely thought they were just gonna greenlight a season 2 for Cowboy Bebop because they only need 1 more season. I'm not sitting here signing petitions to keep it canceled. I think that that's very important to say. For the people coming in here saying, oh, you're obsessed with it. I'm not sitting here promoting the petitions to keep it canceled. If you want it to be uncanceled, go sign the petition. There's a petition with 60,000 signatures. Go sign it. I'll laugh at it if they re-greenlight it. But I'm not sitting here saying, I'm glad it was canceled. It should be canceled. And these actors should be fired and kicked out of Hollywood. I'm not doing that shit. I'm just saying it's a shitty show. That's all I'm doing. Remember, kids, even when there isn't any proof, believe all women. Oh no. Guys. Where's the petition to keep it canceled? I'll sign that shit. I have no clue. I know it exists, though. I think you could probably Google Cowboy Bebop cancellation petition. I know that the one to uncancel it pops up. I'm sure the other one is like right under the other one. I have no insight into it though. It shouldn't be canceled, but I can't lie and say I'm not glad. Yeah, like I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh, they should have I'm glad they canceled it and those actors should get kicked out of the industry." Fuck no. I'm just saying it was a bad show. If they wanted to cancel it because it was doing that bad, I'm going to laugh at it. That's fucking funny. But I'm not sitting here saying I support it. So censorship, a show getting canceled isn't censorship. They're not saying they canceled it because it was too offensive or they canceled it because people were hurt by it. They said that they canceled it because it didn't make them enough money. That's just how it goes. That's just business. Yeah, Netflix's Cowboy Bebop was very bad. But alrighty guys, we'll move into the next topic of the evening, which is going to be Sakai Project, and unfortunately, a visual novel featuring content changes. I probably will be doing an individual video on this. I think tomorrow I'm going to talk about the Dungeons & Dragons and Pathfinder changes. But, as you guys know, I talk about a lot of visual novel censorship here on the channel. Unfortunately, it does happen quite a lot. I wish that there was something more we could do about it so that these companies would stop forcing content to be censored. But all we can really do is talk about it, share it, and not support the projects or products that are censored. But this is an Anime News Network article Sakai Project's digital Steam release of Rewrite Plus visual novel features content changes, aka censorship. Wish I could say I was surprised. I'm not. I'm just disappointed. Sakai Project announced on Thursday on the Kickstarter page for the physical and digital release of Visual Arts / Keys Rewrite Plus PC visual novel that it is sending Steam keys to backers. The game launched on PC via Steam on Friday, and the company also revealed that it had to change some content with help from Visual Arts to make it acceptable for the Western digital Steam release. Sakai Project added that it will refund pledges for backers who find these changes unacceptable. Now, I do want to point this out straight away before we get into the content that was actually censored. I think that this is good right here that Sakai Project did put out this statement and say, so first of all, it's good that they admitted that it was changed. They didn't try to hide it and like mislead people, telling people, oh yeah, nothing's going to be changed, when in reality it was changed. So I'm glad that they came forward and did say that it was changed, but they also added that they would be happy to refund any pledges for backers who find these changes unacceptable. So I do want to give Sakai Project a big thumbs up for that. I'm definitely not supporting the censorship at all, but I do have to say it is at least good or better that a company isn't trying to mislead consumers, and they are admitting right in front of consumers, hey, listen, there are some changes to the Steam release, and we are happy to refund pledges for backers who find these changes unacceptable. I have not seen any reports that like people are trying to get it refunded and they can't. I haven't heard anything like that, so at least that is something that's not bad. But obviously, it's not okay that a company is just censoring their content. But we do know that it's not just these companies deciding, oh, our content is too offensive, so we've got to tone it down for audiences. No. Unfortunately, it boils down to Steam, because this is only happening on the digital Steam release. So basically, Steam told them, we are not going to accept this game onto our platform until you tone down content. And of course, when you're an indie developer, when you're a smaller company, you want your games to reach as many people as possible, and you're going to want things on Steam. Like, if I made a game, I would of course want it on Steam, because the exposure is just so much larger than putting it on an individual website. It boils down to Steam being a pile of shit, and unfortunately forcing developers to censor their products. And we're not even talking here about like nude scenes. We're not talking about like extremely NSFW stuff. We're talking about like bras and so look at the second image, a bra and underwear seen on the left, the original, the Rewrite Plus Japanese retail, and then on the right side it was changed to a full-length button-up shirt. We're not talking about like fully nude scenes here. We're talking about suggestive things, yes. The top one, as you can see, there's more leaves around, hiding more of like her bust area, hiding more of her back end. And then the last one, of course, they're, just covering up her legs more, covering up her underwear more. I'm not very surprised to hear that this is happening, because it's Steam. And like I said, Steam has turned into a very, unfortunately, shitty company. What they accept and what they do not accept has definitely changed over the years quite a lot. It's hard, because on one hand, again, I do think that it's good that Sakai Project came out and said, listen guys, this game is releasing soon. Unfortunately, we had to censor content in the Steam version, and we are happy to refund pledges for anyone who find these changes unacceptable, and I think that that is very good of them to do. But at the same time, they are ultimately bending the knee to censorship. They could have said, you know what, we're not going to put this product on Steam, we're going to put it on our own website, we're going to put it on another platform, and there are other platforms. Yes, some of the other platforms might not be as large as Steam, but there are other platforms and other alternatives, so it's kind of a give and take. I wouldn't support this product with censorship in it. If they had came out and said, you know what, we're not working with Steam anymore, we're putting it on our own website or finding another way to distribute it, I know I would have supported it just out of just out of wanting to support them and not kneeling to Steam and not bowing down to censorship. It's rough because I get it. They put a lot of money into the game. They have the Kickstarter for it. They're afraid of facing backlash. They're afraid of their games getting banned on the platform. But at the same time, the more you bend the knee, the more companies find this acceptable and will be okay with it. And we've seen a pattern with Steam. They are forcing more developers to censor more and more games. And that is not changing for the better. That is just continuing and even getting worse at times. I think that this game does look, it does look really good. This visual novel doesn't look bad. Like, some of this art looks pretty good. I didn't know much about Rewrite Plus, obviously. You know, full disclosure. It's not like I was someone who was super excited and, like, had it pre-ordered and was, like, gonna buy it at launch. But, again, I know that if they had came out and said, fuck Steam, we're gonna release it somewhere else, I would have supported it based on principle. It does look pretty good. But unfortunately, sometimes this is just what happens. Companies make a decision, like Steam makes a decision to not allow this content, and then developers make a decision to try to get their content put on the platform. I still obviously hope for their sake their game works out. It's not a complete failure. But on the other hand, I'm not going to support it, especially when it's on Steam. It's censored, it's toned down, and it's not what people expected. It does say the physical release will have the original CGs from the Japanese retail release. The changed content was at first used in the original release of Rewrite, and the less censored images are from the Rewrite Plus version. It says, of course, their Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign to fund a localization and physical and digital release for the game ended successfully in November 2019, and the campaign met its $180,000 goal one day before it ended and raised a total of $207,200 from 2,087 backers. So clearly there were a lot of people that were very excited over this product, who were going to support it, who were really looking forward to it. I'm sure a lot of people are still going to support it. We're not going to see massive refunds for it, I bet, but only time will tell. And there hasn't really been a lot of people talking about it, unfortunately. It's always disappointing for me to see situations like this happen and no one really be covering them. Obviously, my channel started as a Magic the Gathering / tabletop channel, and then I moved heavily into censorship, and that's kind of what got me where I am now. But I do find it really important to talk about censorship whenever I can. And if you were planning on supporting Rewrite Plus, it is censored on Steam. So that's all that I really had to discuss with that, guys. Like I said, I might make a video on it over the next couple days, but at least I talked about it in the stream. So, with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next topic in just a minute. We're gonna be talking about The Punisher, of course. Wish I could, not see this in my feed today. Wish, they weren't changing a skull logo because it's too offensive in 2021. Steam is very, very fucking inconsistent, theater. That's the best way to describe it. Steam does have some adult games on their platform. They do have some visual novels that have way more intense content. Let me just put it that way. Some of it is allowed and some of it's not. And unfortunately, it's because of inconsistent guidelines that their employees are following. It's because their employees basically get to pick and choose what gets accepted and what's not accepted. So it leads to situations like that where, yeah, you might have a game that has nudity and everything, and then you have a game where you can't show panty, or else it has to be censored. Really quickly, guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, make sure to give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Donate via Streamlabs. Become a member via YouTube memberships. But primarily like the stream. All the links are in the description. And we'll move into the next topic in just a second. Yeah, Punisher murdering people, that's okay, but skulls? That is too far, guys. Oh no, I reopened, I opened Twitter and Eternals is trending? Why the fuck is Eternals trending? Okay. No Way Home, Marvel Studios, Hawkeye's drowning and Eternals is at the bottom of the fucking ocean. Aw, sheesh. Aw, who did this? That's too harsh. That is actually true though. Damn. No truer words have been spoken. I'm not gonna scroll down this because there could be No Way Home spoilers, and listen, I'm a nice person, okay? But that gets a retweet for me. Wow. Good job to that person. Eternals could have been good. Unfortunately, we see how that went, and it was a fucking disaster. That was too good. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still Marvel, but it's Marvel and Sony, not just Disney Marvel doing the movie. Which we are going to talk about Spider-Man right after this topic. But guys, listen. For every one good thing that Marvel does, whether it's in the comic books, movies, video games, whatever one good step they take forward, they take a solid 10 steps backwards. And Marvel has unfortunately gone in a very terrible fucking direction over the past, I want to say just like 2 or 3 years, but it's been a while. But Marvel has decided the Punisher is just not cutting it in 2021, almost 2022. Because Marvel is now giving the Punisher a new, completely reworked skull symbol for the modern day. Yeah. They're doing it. The Punisher is the next on the fucking hit list. Marvel Comics revealed that they will be, laugh of the fucking year by the way, Marvel Comics, revealed that they will be giving the Punisher a brand new skull symbol in the new Punisher series. The new symbol comes after a campaign to reclaim the Punisher's iconic symbol that was launched by the character's co-creator Jerry Conway. So, unfortunately, the co-creator of this character didn't even want to defend his own character. Which is a giant problem, because usually we see outside sources fucking with symbols and lore and characters. And like, the original creators have absolutely no say in what happens. But in this case, it's because of the co-creator. I have no respect for Jerry Conway. I have no respect for Marvel Comics. I mean, let's be honest, Marvel in general, but especially Jerry Conway after this. Back in June 2020, he took to Twitter where he announced, "I'm looking for young comic book artists of color who'd like to participate in a small fundraising project for BLM to reclaim the Punisher's skull as a symbol of justice rather than lawless police oppression." He caused this huge scene on social media last year, and I made a video or talked about it in a discussion stream last year. He made a big, giant deal out of the Punisher's skull logo / symbol, and he was saying how, as this says, you know, it's been taken over, it's been twisted around, and now it's a symbol for something I don't want it to mean. And so he was basically calling for it to be changed. He was basically pointing to the fact that he wanted it to be changed. But you don't even have a co-creator defending his own work. He's just fucking burying it. It says he had previously derided police and military who used the symbol. In an interview with Sci-Fi, he stated, "To me, it's disturbing whenever I see authority figures embracing Punisher iconography because the Punisher represents a failure of the justice system. He's supposed to indict the collapse of social moral authority and the reality. Some people can't depend on institutions like the police or the military to act in just and culpable way." Now, again, a giant problem I have is when you're taking a real life situation, right? And you have this fictional character, and you want the fictional character changed around to re-represent something, or you want it to potentially represent something in the real world. I personally do not support when people throw political messaging into comic books, like 98% of the time. Again, like I always say, if it's political in terms of the world itself that's trying to be told, that's one thing. But when you're throwing real world political issues into a comic book with characters, whatever it may be, and you're trying to make it work that way, I don't support that. It says, the vigilante anti-hero is fundamentally a critique of the justice system, an example of social failure. So when cops put Punisher skulls on their cars or members of the military wear Punisher skull patches, they're basically siding with an enemy of the system. He made this big deal in this interview and on social media, and Marvel's decided, you know what? We're gonna do it. Marvel had previously addressed this controversy over the Punisher symbol in the Punisher number 13. In that issue, the Punisher is stopped by 2 police officers who reveal that they are fans of the Punisher and believe in what he's doing. In response, the Punisher rips their symbols from their clothes and tells them, "I'll say this once, we're not the same. You took an oath to uphold the law. You help people. I gave that all up a long time ago. You don't do what I do. Nobody does." Of course. Because that's the most important thing here. But now, the entire symbol has been radically reworked, as seen below. And it looks bad. Like, if this was a new symbol for a new character, maybe I'd feel a little differently. Because, like, I guess it's not the worst. It reminds me more of fucking Loki, though. Like, when I look at this, I ain't thinking about the Punisher. I'm thinking about, like, Loki. Like, that'd be one sick-ass Loki symbol, right? But for the Punisher, it's just not the same. It's just not good enough. I hate this. I hate that they are taking this logo and they're saying it represents bad and awful things, so we need to rework it. I think that is really, really dumb. We're talking about a fucking skull. That's it. It's a skull. Leave it be. It's not broken, so you don't have to fix it. But of course, because a couple people on social media agreed with Jerry Conway, because a couple people on social media said, no, we can't have this anymore in 2021. They're changing it all. They're changing this symbol. I know I will not be supporting this. I know I will not buy this comic line. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna go cry myself a river and float upstream. Yeah, for sure. I mean, how heartbreaking not supporting a fucking comic book in 2021. By Marvel. But, I just... I can't believe. I can believe, but it's disappointing that they take such an iconic symbol, on an iconic character, and are just changing it around because, oh, a couple people on social media got a little offended by it. So now we've got to change it around. It says, of course, that they're not completely doing away with it yet, just because in this comic series there are flashbacks and he does have the original symbol, but I think that they'd have to do it in order to get some people on board with it. If they just, like, completely acted like that logo never existed, I think people would be even more fucking furious, and they knew that they had to kind of, like, phase it out. So clearly throughout this, with the flashbacks, they have the older logo, but now they have the new one. So they're going to kind of phase it out, and I'm sure in a couple months we won't see the old logo anymore at all whatsoever. But, of course, they're erasing this character's past, this previous logo, and they're moving forward with the Punisher for modern-day audiences, which is very, very dumb. Very dumb. I just don't like really how it looks. Again, like if maybe it was on another character and they didn't change it for a specific reason, maybe I'd like it more. But because I know the meaning behind it, because I know it was changed to please certain people, I unfortunately, I'm not gonna support it. Because I know what it means. I know why they changed it. It's not like they just changed it because they wanted to give him like a modern look and a modern symbol. It's not just like that simple. It's not just, oh, we changed it because we felt like it would look cooler this way. There's a meaning behind it. There's a reason they did it. So, yeah. Someone should make a comic studio to be nothing but satire and constantly shit on modern-day DC and Marvel comics. The thing is that it'd just be hard to do, because, like, yeah, we've seen, like, characters be created that are kind of, like, mocking other characters, but to have a whole company that did it on a constant basis, multiple characters, it'd probably be kind of difficult, because you obviously want them to be similar enough to where people see the parallels, but at the same time, you can't have it too close or you're gonna get sued. So, kind of iffy. Halo should sue them. Looks similar to a grunt skull. Kind of. That Rover. Marvel and DC already do that themselves. Honk honk, guys. Low budget Cthulhu. I don't really see a low budget Cthulhu there. Again, I don't think that it's like the worst logo, but it's the meaning behind it, right? They're not changing it just because they want to change it and update it. No, they're changing it because, oh no, there were people that were mad and angry about it, so now we have to change it around. The worst part about comics is that if you don't, like, look at social media, and, like, if you don't actually pay attention to, like, social media and, like, what these companies are doing in the background, you're gonna think everything's just fine and dandy. Like, you are never gonna see a problem in any of this. And that's why I understand there are so many people out there who still support Marvel and DC and all of their products because they don't see that side. But if you are aware of what's going on social media, if you're listening to news like this, you just see how shitty they are. It would seriously be great, though, if a comic company like that existed. I agree. If anyone out there wants to start a comic company or needs someone's input on a comic series that just makes fun of DC and Marvel comics, any comics, let's be honest, I'm here. Hit me up. Twitter. Business email. I'm ready. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Much appreciated. I'm in. Man, comics. I still like comics, just not mainstream comics anymore. You guys know. For many, 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 many years, I collected comics. I collected comics for a long time. I worked at a comic book shop for a long time. I like comics.
Christopher donated $10. Tell Jerry that maybe BLM wouldn't need fundraisers as its founder would stop buying mansions. B.
Christopher, Christopher, listen. That should have at least been a 20 bomb. Let's be honest. Do you want YouTube to flag this stream as inappropriate content? I'm gonna get a strike. I'm not even gonna repeat that. Thank you for the $10 donation. No comment. No comment. I don't talk about things like that. Straight face. Straight face. Oh, by the way, guys, I found gingerbread Mountain Dew. I found Ginger Snap Mountain Dew. I'm streaming on Christmas. And I'll crack it open on Christmas. I will. I'll crack it over the weekend. And I'll drink some gingerbread Mountain Dew. Buying lots of mansions. Yeah, wasn't it like 2 mansions and like 3 cars or something? Oh, we're not talking about it. It's fine. Everything's great. You mind your business. I'll mind mine. YouTube? I'm not engaging. Please don't strike my channel. Thanks. Much appreciated. You found it? I did. Guys, I had to spend $6 on this shit though. It was the last one, and it was the cans. So now if I have 1 can and I take 3 sips and I hate it, I've got 11 other cans of it. So I did find Ginger Snapped Mountain Dew though. Yeah, YouTube likes to flag streams for dumb shit. Like whenever I say Amber Heard or Johnny Depp's name, it literally always flags my stream. Always. This stream will be flagged because I'm saying their names. Literally. Even with no context. Four? For what? No pumpkin spice ramen though. I wasn't able to find it. Amazon. Do you sell pumpkin spice ramen? Amazon. Listen, Amazon. A 2-day delivery needs some pumpkin spice ramen. Fucking hell, guys! I can't. Every time I type in Amazon, this woman's face pops up. Every time I just type in Amazon, it's the first autofill. No! Get her off my screen. Get her off of my screen, dude. No. I'm not interested. I will not vote for her at the award shows, okay? Get her off my screen. Yeah, Ginger Snap Mountain Dew sounds fucking disgusting, but I still bought it. Oh, yeah, it's like $6. Because it's like a 12-pack. It's like the cans. It looks pretty gross. What did they do to my beloved Punisher? They gave him a new logo, a new symbol, because the old one was too offensive, apparently. I'm gonna drink the Ginger Snap Mountain Dew on Christmas. Thanks, guys. Much appreciated for your suggestions. Yeah, we'll move on to the next topic in just a minute, which is gonna be Spider-Man. I've already talked about my thoughts on it. As you guys know, I saw it over the week. I saw it on Friday. Guys, when I was seeing it, right? So the theater that I went to was packed. The theater that I went to was absolutely filled. Lots of people there. And sitting next to me to my left was were 2 people. Must have been a grandfather and the grandson, and they were talking before the movie started. And the grandfather asked, "Is Peter in this one?" And the grandson looks at him and goes, "They're all named Peter." I'm sorry. It was too funny. I'm sorry. That shit was too funny. Is Peter in this? They're all named Peter. It was just the tone. It was so serious. It was great. Yeah, I do not like the new Punisher logo. I think that it looks really dumb. Even Ruby Rose hates Batwoman, and she was the star of it. She says she hates it, but she also has said like 3 times that she'd go back to the role, which I don't understand, because if you went through so much so much on the set and you hated filming it so much and you got threatened the way that she says that she did, why would you ever, like, say you might go back? Like, you'd be up for another season. Like, who would do that? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not saying that she was, like, lying or anything, but you'd think. Maybe it's just because she really wants the money and she got paid decently. I don't know. Don't ask me. But we're going to talk about Spider-Man. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers, guys, just because I did do a video a couple of days ago with my thoughts on the movie. I did talk about spoilers in that, and I did do a discussion stream, or I did a stream where I talked about Spider-Man and kind of gave my spoiler-filled thoughts. I'm not gonna talk about any spoilers. Probably next week there'll be some spoiler talk. But I'm mainly going to be talking about the box office numbers. So as you guys know, everyone's been really, really excited about Spider-Man No Way Home. There were lots of rumors floating around the internet, and I saw the movie and I thought that it was really, really good. You guys know I do not like Marvel. I do not like supporting their movies, but I waited until 2 days before when spoiler-filled reviews came out because I told myself I would only watch it, I would only go and support it if it sounded like they did what fans wanted. And it sounded like they brought back characters fans wanted, they wrote the story in a way that people wanted it to be, and it sounded like they actually were listening to fans. So I decided to support it. I bought a ticket, I went, and I thought that it was really, really good. It was one of the best MCU movies. It's a great superhero film, and I give it like a 9 out of 10. It was a very, very solid movie. I really, really liked it, and overall, it was a good, positive experience. And it's not just me who liked it, because right now, Spider-Man No Way Home is doing absolutely amazing in the box office, and it only came out a couple of days ago. And its grosses have obliterated Kevin Feige's MCU Phase 4 installments. We have seen some pretty terrible movies lately from Marvel, but this is doing very good. It says No Way Home absolutely obliterated all of the top domestic box office earners in its first weekend in theaters, including Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige's MCU Phase 4 installments of Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, and more. I thought that Black Widow was a bad movie. I was not a fan of Shang-Chi. I thought that Eternals was a bad movie. I have not been very impressed with all of these films coming out over the past few months and years when it comes to Marvel. I think that we've definitely seen a shift away in what people, fans, individuals want, and they've been more focused on making things that look like they're a good company. They're worried about diversity, inclusivity, and while diversity and inclusivity are good things, and I say this all the time, when that is your sole focus in creating a movie, it just doesn't work out, and unfortunately, the movie turns out to be really mediocre, and the content turns out to be shit. You are not focused on storytelling, you're not focused on fan service, you're not focusing on anything good, and you end up creating a really terrible product. I think that Black Widow was terrible. Shang-Chi, Eternals, all of these movies in Marvel's new woke Phase 4. But it says, according to the numbers, Spider-Man No Way Home raked in $253 million at the domestic box office, putting it firmly at the top of the 2021 box office charts by unseating Shang-Chi, which only grossed $224 million in its entire domestic run. So in only a couple of days, because this also doesn't include Monday's numbers, so including 4 days, I guess technically, because yeah, Monday wasn't part of this, for 4 days worth of content, and being out only for 4 days, it is already topping things like Shang-Chi, that grossed $224 million in its entire domestic run. It is doing really, really good right now. It says not only did No Way Home bring in record-breaking domestic grosses, but it also hauled in $334 million internationally for a global gross of $587.2 million, and that's without the communist Chinese market. I think that this is a giant step in a good direction. The film wasn't in the Chinese market, so these numbers aren't being boosted by the Chinese market at all. We're seeing a change in the content that was actually in the movie, and they are being rewarded for it. Again, that's why I went to see it. I wanted to show that I don't just complain and then still complain even when they change things. I wanted them to make this movie good. I wanted them to add certain characters, go with certain storylines, and I heard that they did. I bought a ticket, I supported it, and I do not regret buying a ticket and supporting it. I thought that it was a really good movie, and it's a good step in a good direction. Again, it wasn't just a Disney Marvel movie, it was a Marvel Sony movie, and we're talking about Sony, who made Ghostbusters 2016, that was absolutely shit, and then made Afterlife, which was phenomenal. They listened to fans, they listened to what people wanted, and I think that that is a giant reason why this movie did successful. Obviously, again, with every good step that is taken with Marvel, they take 10 terrible steps backwards. So, while I think that Spider-Man was good, and I'm looking forward to something like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we're gonna have to see what happens with Multiverse of Madness, what's going to happen with the films after that. They could take it in a completely different direction, and this movie could be the only good Phase 4 movie. I hope that it continues to make money, because it was good. I hope that we see more Spidey movies, especially after this one, and saw the direction they went in. I hope we see more projects like this. I hope that they see this and go, you know what? This is awesome. We are getting fucking rewarded for the good content we put out, and we want to keep doing that. I do really, really hope that they see this as an opportunity to learn, and they actually continue to make good content. Do I think they're going to? Ultimately, no. We know how Marvel is. We know how Feige is. We know how all these fuckers are. We know that they see one good thing, and they completely go off the path with all the other projects. But I still have hope after this movie. We'll have to see what happens. But it says the film took the top spot for highest grossing domestic weekend in December, unseating The Force Awakens, which had an opening of $247.9 million. It also has the third highest grossing domestic opening weekend of all time, behind Endgame and Infinity War. It's the highest opening weekend in Sony's history, according to Deadline, and it also had the third highest Monday opening as well. It's the third highest for a Monday, which is great. Again, this movie is doing phenomenal in theaters right now, and I think that we're gonna continue to see that. It was a good movie. It had a lot of fan service. The writing was good. The characters they brought in was good. The acting was decent. I do not like Zendaya. I have never liked Zendaya. I never will like Zendaya. It is what it is. I am going to pretend Zendaya isn't part of this movie. If Zendaya wasn't part of this movie, if they had made the other movies better, and they hadn't started fucking around with Doctor Strange, I definitely think that this movie would have been a 10 out of 10. But Zendaya's just not a good actress, in my opinion. She kind of brings down the trilogy. Hashtag not my MJ. I didn't like the direction they were going with Doctor Strange and how they were portraying Doctor Strange. And that's not like a spoiler or anything, because he's been in literally all of the marketing. And I'm also judging this movie based on the other films in the trilogy, because it's not just a single standalone movie, it's a trilogy. And Homecoming was not good. I'm sorry, guys. I did not like Homecoming. And what was the last one? Far From Home? Spider-Man Going Fucking Home, whatever the home movie is. That one, the last one, with Jake Gyllenhaal, okay? Mysterio. It wasn't bad. And again, though, it wasn't a 10 out of 10 movie. And if this movie was the last in a trilogy of fucking amazing films, it could have gotten a 10 out of 10 from me. Unfortunately, they all felt very different. They didn't feel like they had to be a trilogy. It just kind of felt like, here's one Spider-Man movie, here's another Spider-Man movie, here's another Spider-Man movie. They didn't feel very cohesive to me, and I wasn't a huge fan of the other two. I still think that Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, and then No Way Home. 2 is just chef's kiss times 20. It's too good. If I ever watched a movie on YouTube and I could get banned for it, I would do it for Spider-Man 2. I would do it. But it was a good movie. It was a very, very solid movie. Does this make Tom Holland Spidey my favorite Spidey? No. I'm a Tobey Maguire simp. I'm sorry. How old is Tobey Maguire? 47? I'm a simp. I'm a simp. But he's still the best Spidey. Tom Holland's not bad. I honestly still kind of pick Andrew Garfield over Tom Holland's as well. This movie was definitely the second best Spidey movie, though. But Spider-Man 2, number 1. No Way Home, number 2. That's just the way it goes. Spider-Man Home Security. Oh, no. Oh no, Spider-Man homeowner. Who do I simp harder for? Tobey Maguire or 90s Val Kilmer? That's a good question.
Christopher donated $15.
I thought the movie was pretty
BLM
good.
is producing the next Spider-Man movie, and it's called See All My Homes.
Listen, Chris. Thank you for the $15 donation. After your $10 donation, much appreciated. Thank you for the 15 smackerinos. I appreciate it. It's very giving. It's the holiday season, right? No comment again. Thanks for the dono. No comment again. Spider-Man Homewrecker. Guys, these I don't understand. I don't like the home title. Homecoming. Far From Home. No Way Home. Just fucking go home. I don't. The next Spider-Man movie should be Spider-Man Where Is Home? Ooh, that's a low blow to Peter. But yeah. I thought the movie was good. I thought it was really good. Not as good as Spidey 2. But definitely a really solid movie. Zendaya MJ is unnecessary. I do not like Zendaya. I do not like her as MJ. I do not know how I feel about her as Shawnee. I am not a fan. I don't know why. I really liked her outfit shit that she was doing for leading up to No Way Home. I thought that shit was great. She had like this black dress for like all the villains. She had like a black dress with like a golden spine down the back for Ock. She had like a purple and green suit for Green Goblin. She had like this gold suit for like this gold dress for Electro. She had like this spider web dress for Spidey. I thought that was good. I will give Zendaya an A+ on that. That was good. That was good marketing. That was solid. But besides that, I give her a C-. Lucky she didn't get an F. Spider-Man Just Go Fucking Home. Yes, right? I personally do not get the home titles. I don't get the direction there. Maybe am I missing something, guys? Like this whole Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. Am I just like missing something, or are they just very not good? Like they do not represent the movies at all. Like Far From Home, I guess kind of does. Because there are characters that are far from home. But, like, it's still mediocre? I don't know. I'm just not a fan of, like, the home titles. I feel like it's kind of weird. Kirsten Dunst is my NJ. I do not like Kirsten Dunst that much. I'm just gonna keep it a stack. She's not awful, but she's also still not my favorite. Like, she's okay. Guys, these home titles. Holy shit. Have you guys been practicing these home titles? Like, coming up with the Spider-Man Homeless, Homeward Bound. Good movie. Holmes and Watson. Have you guys been practicing this? Is there, like, a competition I forgot? Like, instead of a spelling bee, it's a title bee? I don't know, guys. Spider-Man Lost My Home actually accurate after that last movie, though. Whew. Low blow to Peter. Alright, guys, so the next topic we're going to talk about is just going to be Matrix. It's not going to really be a super detailed topic at all. I did a video a couple days ago on the Matrix Resurrections. It was yesterday, I believe, actually, yeah. I talked about Matrix Resurrections and how right now the review scores are really, really poor for it. Right now it's sitting at a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, which isn't terrible. But if you look at the individual reviews that are being posted on, like, Twitter, IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, social media in general, you're seeing a lot of negativity. There's a lot of negativity around this movie. People saying you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. There's no in between, and a lot of people are saying it's bad. IGN gave this movie a 4. A 4 out of 10, which is absolutely fucking abysmal. I don't get the home thing either. I guess they just call it Homecoming because Marvel bought Spider-Man and brought him back to Marvel. I guess because, like, it's the first movie in a trilogy, so it's Homecoming. I think it's dumb. I do not like the home titles. I think that they're just kind of weird. Again, Far From Home, not bad, because characters are far from home. But besides that, I just feel like the other ones are very bizarre. Home Improvement, actually true. But yeah, Matrix Resurrections is sitting at a 70% right now. Which isn't terrible, but it's also not perfect. The audience score, there's actually, you know, how could there be 50 plus ratings? The Matrix comes out at midnight tonight, right, guys? It's got 50 plus ratings. Is there a copy of it online that I don't know about? Not that I would ever look. Not that I would never start a VPN and go to incognito mode. Me, I would never. How are people seeing it already? The Matrix Resurrections. Not that I would ever. Oh, now I know how people see it. Okay, never mind. I would never. There potentially could be copies up online, though. So I guess people are starting to give it reviews. Obviously, no one's supposed to see it for another couple hours. Don't get any ideas, guys. But I wanted to read just a couple of the reviews. I am going to watch it, and I will have some thoughts on it soon. But let's click on some of the audience scores. The Matrix 4 Wrong Direction. A 5. It's a brilliant reintroduction to the Matrix, as well as a continuation of the story while introducing new characters and developing the world in unexpected ways that live up to the legacy of the original trilogy. My thoughts on The Matrix are this. The first movie was absolutely fucking amazing. The second one wasn't bad. The first one for me would be like a 90 or a 95. The second one would be like an 80. And then the third one would just be like a 60. First two were good. First one was great. Second was good. Third one, not for me. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna give it a shot. Lot of 5 stars here. But again, keep in mind, there are a lot of people saying you're either going to love it or you're gonna hate it. What does this mean? Good movie in true Ghostbusters fashion. Good to the core, and awesome the reunion of Neo and Trinity, and the new character is a great mix. That's one suspicious bot review, my guy. That is one bot-ass review if I've ever seen one. The new character is a great mix. What new character? Do you even know their name? No. You didn't remember their name enough to write it in the review. This part, okay, awesome reunion of Neo and Trinity. Literally anyone is gonna say that. Even if it was a shitty reunion, people would say it's still a great reunion because that's sweet, sweet nostalgia. A good movie in true Ghostbusters fashion, good to the core. What does that mean? Because there's like a group of people? Oh, Ghostbusters wasn't the first to do that. Are they saying because it was a reboot? Like Afterlife? Because Ghostbusters Afterlife was a good continuation? I don't understand. What do they mean? What do you mean? I know many fans wanted to know what happened to Neo and other parts after 3, but the story of this Afterlife thing has nothing new from part 1 to 3, just some nostalgias for the fans on a really normal, boring story. Which anyone can think of with boring, extra long intro, not so cool fighting scene. I even confused the fight is inside the Matrix or not. Okay, 1.5 star. 2. No real improvement over 2 and 3. 3. Ooh. The original is still the best by a massive margin. Why does Hollywood consistently get so much wrong with remakes? Just let the 80s, 90s go, try something new. I won't hold my breath. TLDR, save your money and watch on TV for free. Okay. Seems fair. Some of the worst effects I've seen in a long time, overlong and exhausting, drained all of the magic out of the original. How long is Matrix Resurrections? Matrix Resurrections movie length. 2 hours and 28 minutes. Okay. They made it sound like a 3.5-hour movie, like we're going to see the motherfucking Titanic. 4 hours, 2 parts on VHSs, but it's okay. The story is coherent, and so are the original characters. How is that the best that you have? You're giving it a 5 star, and you're saying the story's coherent? The original characters are in it. Half a star. Everything is worse. What are these bot-ass reviews? My guys, come on, put a little effort. Put a little pizzazz. Matrix must be the best of CGI action, sci-fi, and Resurrections obviously isn't. Again, some 5 stars here for sure, but a lot of 1, 2, and 3 stars. So much potential for this universe, and it was squandered once again. I guess we'll have the one good Matrix film. Goodbye, Mr. Anderson. Again, I thought that 2 was decent as well. What's the score for 2? Rotten... guys, I bring things up on my second monitor, so in case anything ever randomly pops up on my screen. Matrix, what was the second one called? There's Matrix Reloaded and then Revolutions, right? A 72%. Okay. It's got a 73% critic and a 72% audience. I would say it's a little bit higher than that, in my opinion. The second one. I feel like the second one was maybe like an 80%. But what does the Matrix one have? It's got an 88 critic and an 85 audience. I'd give it a 90 for myself, the first one, and the second one I'd give like an 80. So, it's not terrible. 5 out of 5. I loved it. Only problem, it was not long enough. Story was well done and integrated. That's it. Okay. 2.5 stars. Not 100% sure why there are so many positive things being said about this movie. This movie is lacking nearly everything that makes The Matrix The Matrix. The movie is not good at saying, basically. The plot is really hollow, loses all of its momentum the moment Neo comes out in the new Matrix. The action is sloppy and unmemorable. I mean, they're saying that it's lazy. Obviously, I haven't seen it myself. I'm not gonna fully judge it yet. This doesn't give you a lot of confidence. Look at all these 5s. Okay. Oh, maybe it's gonna be great. Matrix Resurrections is a great movie with amazing ideas and performances. Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss still have that epic chemistry. It has all the type of Matrix feelings and action. Definitely seeing it again because it might be hard to understand the whole idea and philosophy in first watch. What a bore of word salads. And I still can't understand the fascination with Keanu, horrible actor. Okay, buddy, listen. Listen, no one wants that opinion. Okay? Keanu's decent. Listen, keep your shitty thoughts to yourself. It's complicated. Let's be honest, it will forever be impossible to top the first movie. The look was so different than any other movies of its time and opened up a unique universe with a flawed but interesting tale. But, though you can't compete with the first, the next 2 movies were a disaster. I don't know, guys. I feel like 2 wasn't that bad. Is it just like me? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you guys think about Matrix 2? 1 being awful, terrible, 10 being great. In my opinion, the first movie would be an 8 to a 9. The first Matrix would be a 9. In my opinion, the second one wasn't that bad. The third one was bad. The second one wasn't that bad, though. I don't know. Is it just me? Best Matrix movie of all time. Solid flick, lots of nostalgia, but uses it to its advantage. Best Matrix movie ever. Wow, lots of... Best Matrix movie all time, best ever. 7, 3, 5, 7. Okay, so it seems like 6 to 7. It kind of seems like everyone kind of sits around a 6 to an 8 range. It looks like, yeah, a couple 8s. I think that that's fair enough. I didn't think it was a 9 or a 10, but I thought the second was like a 7 or an 8. Matrix 1 was a 9 out of 10. Matrix 2, 7 to an 8. Matrix 3, we don't talk about her around here. She's a bitch. 5 out of 5. Not gonna lie, a 5 out of 5. Not gonna lie, I only watched the above trailer, and I'm in tears. I also have a deeply emotional connection to the Matrix series, so I am biased. They'd make a great game journalist. Are they looking for a job? So they gave it a 5 out of 5 because they watched the trailer. Okay. Sure. That seems fair and accurate. 5 out of 5. The Matrix Resurrections, it's amazing, and it's awesome, and it's epic, and it's the #1 movie in America. I'll give The Matrix Resurrections 2 thumbs up, way up, and I'll give The Matrix Resurrections a certified fresh, in all caps, 5 out of fucking 5. Why is it good? Is the acting good? Is the story good? Is the CGI good? No, it's just good because it's Matrix. Okay, good for you, buddy. 5 out of 5 flamingos. Ah, yes. A man of culture. Guys, what is going on with these reviews? I read a lot of reviews. Who's fucking Flamingo Boy over here? What's he doing? Kotaku would hire them? Actually true. Game journalists in the making. 5 out of 5 trailer. That's the worst. It's like, I saw the trailer and I'm giving it a 5 out of 5. Like, what? What? Two and a half. This is surely the disappointment of the year. Warner Brothers should have left it alone. Back on the 2000s or hired Marvel to do a fresh reboot. I can't. saying they want Marvel to do a reboot? Oh, bro, I can't. I think I've definitely lost some brain cells with these reviews. Let's go to the top critics. This has clearly got to be better, right? Clearly. B+. The Matrix... I just gave their shitty website a click. What the fuck? It's a nostalgic triumph that reminds us of what and who we loved about the original without constraining itself to a familiar path. It focuses on telling a heartfelt story that rings as true to reality as possible. This may cause hardcore Matrix lovers to loathe the direction that's been taken, but it's a breath of fresh air for me. Ultimately feels like this is a warmed-over tribute to the past than a bold and refreshing new chapter. 2.5 out of 4. That ain't good. This ain't good. A D. This man gave this movie a D. Not even a good one. There's more than just a glitch at the Matrix. The entire server is down. Dude, are these critics getting funnier? These critics are these critics are getting kind of good. What the fuck is the Detroit News? Oh, I hate the layout of your website, dude. I just gave you a click because that was great. It's more than just a glitch. The server's down. Okay. This could have been a purely cynical attempt to part us from our cash, or just as bad, an exercise in self-congratulation. Wow, watch Lana dodge those bullets. Complicated in the best of times, The Matrix Resurrections is simply convoluted, a collection of flashy digits that don't add up to much else. The big problem with Resurrections is momentum, but what kills charm to boot is how much PR it keeps trying to do for the franchise. A 2 out of 5. Devoid of its trademark style, action, and depth, it's a pointless follow-up that falls back on cheeky self-referentiality in order to justify its existence. Well, guys, it seems Katie here gives it a C. Where Resurrections really disappoints is in the staging of the action. So, clearly, the reviews are very mixed. There are a lot of positives here, and I did read a couple, but there are also a lot of negatives. Lots of, like, 2.5 out of 5s, Ds, Cs, negatives. It seems like this movie isn't leaning one way or another. Like, people all hate it, or people all love it. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how it progresses, and what else we see with the reviews. But, yeah, that's all that I really had to talk about with Resurrections. I'll chat for a couple more minutes, guys. If you have any questions, comments, or topics you'd like me to discuss, feel free to leave them in chat. If you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Consider donating via Streamlabs, becoming a member of the channel, all that fun stuff. And, yeah. I will be, I believe, streaming again tomorrow night, guys, and then I'll be streaming over the weekend. I'm going to be streaming a new story game over the weekend. Saturday is Christmas. And so you guys know, I will be streaming a game with a lot of nostalgia. One of my favorite games. So yeah. Why is Marvel such a bad company, by the way? Marvel's so bad. They create one good movie. Now we're gonna have to deal with like 10 other terrible ones. Did you finish The Witcher? No. I have not finished... Oh my fucking god, that scared me. I have not finished The Witcher yet. I have 2 episodes
donated
left.
$20.
Thank you for
Hope
the $20.
This makes up for my earlier nukes.
It stopped. Like, the sentence stopped. I thought there was gonna be something else. Thank you so much, Christopher, for the $20 donation. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Those were some nukes. Let me just say. They were pretty funny, though. But no, I have not finished The Witcher yet. I still have 2 episodes to go. But I know what they do in the show and how they change the canon. And guys, like, the show's been really good so far. But you gotta stop changing canon and the story around. Like, just follow the books. I have all the books right here. The books are great. Just follow those. Follow the games. Just stop fucking around with franchises. Like, if you want to make a Witcher show, make a fucking Witcher show. If you want to make something new, make something new. Like, holy crap, it's really not that hard. Keep Disney Marvel away from everything. I 100% agree. I thought that comment was funny. They should have had Marvel do a remake or a reboot. Fuck no. They shouldn't. They need to keep Marvel away from projects like The Matrix. Imagine. They already have Tron. I'm already worried enough about that. Already worried enough. But yeah. I'm gonna leave a five star just because I want to watch the world burn, right? I'm not gonna do that. But, like, you could. Has it updated at all? No. It says there's already 50 plus user or audience reviews, so it's interesting. Even though the movie's not technically out yet. It's not really The Witcher so much as witches. It's like, I like the show, don't get me wrong. I like most of the casting for the main actors. Freya Allan, she's great as Ciri. I really like Henry Cavill as Geralt. I at first was very hesitant about Yennefer because I don't know. I was hesitant. Don't mind her. I think that actress, Anya Carlotto, is that her name? She does a really, really good job. Triss's actress, wasn't a fan at first. I thought she looked way too different. They did change her hair and they changed her hair to red, so she's a redhead again, and they also made her dress more like Triss does. So I definitely am feeling more confident in that direction. But they keep fucking around with the story. I just do not like it. That's my biggest problem right now, because I know how the show ends. I know what they do, which sucks. Like, the first season was really good. It had its problems, and season 2's been really good. But again, it has its problems. At least no ballsack armor anymore, though. At least they got rid of that shit. I'm happy to hear that. I'm glad they changed Triss around. I think that a lot of it's good. It's just, again, you need to stick with what you want to do. If you want to make a show about this book series and this game series, stay true to it or leave it alone. For someone in his mid-50s, Keanu Reeves looks great. Yeah, he definitely looks pretty good for his age. I like Keanu Reeves. I'm not someone who will support a project just because he's part of it, but if I see he's part of it, I definitely can get excited for it. Yeah, the lore's out the window. They followed, for the first season and the first couple episodes of season 2, they followed the lore pretty well. Obviously, there were some slight changes here and there. But when you're drastically changing stories, it sucks. I think that they still could try. I think that they, maybe for season 3, could wrap it back around and retry it and try to change the things they've messed up. But ultimately, I guess we're gonna have to see what they decide to do. Because I truly do not know if they're going to be able to fix it all and change it all for the better. I hope they do, because I really liked Season 1. Season 2's decent, but only time will tell. I mean, we only just got Season 2 last week, so I think it's going to be, again, another, like, year and a half to 2 years before we see Season 3, which is unfortunate, but I also know they're doing the prequel series, which is 1,200 years before, called Blood Origins, and I'm going to watch that. I just think that there are a lot of glaringly obvious problems with the show. It is what it is. They need a new showrunner bad. I give the showrunner some credit because they did try to listen to fan feedback from Season 1 going into Season 2 100%. They changed characters around, they changed outfits around, they changed lore, like, they went back to some of the original lore, which is good. It's really, really good. But I just don't think that she's cutting it. I really don't. I don't know. Only time will tell. I hope that going forward, they try to follow it. I know Henry Cavill basically said he's willing to sign for multiple more seasons, but he wants them to follow source material, so he's, like, already damage controlling. Already. For Witcher, the adaptation is just skin deep in terms of characters. Yen's trash and Triss is just a dead fish. The only thing that carries over is Henry's enthusiasm. I don't know. I really like Yen. I feel like they've done a pretty good job with Yen. Unfortunately, the ending of season 2, how they massively depart from her story and just the way that she acts, unfortunately, isn't great. Triss is just kind of there. But we'll see. I'm going to finish it in the next day or two and let you guys know all of my thoughts on it, just because I'm not fully done it yet. But we know how that shit goes. When you start changing around source material and you start changing around stories, people are going to love it or people are going to hate it. And I'm not someone who supports massive changes and not following source material. I never have. Like I always say, you can make small changes that make things seem better. For sure. Like, if you're changing around maybe the way one character acts, like, maybe you give them some kind of quirky feature, like they have something weird about them that wasn't in the books that adds to their personality. Yeah, that can be good. But there's only so many changes I personally will accept before I just go, okay, enough is enough. Like, you've tried, clearly you couldn't do it, clearly you couldn't do good enough at all whatsoever. I don't think we're at that point yet with Witcher. I feel like they could still kind of change it in a positive direction, but only time will tell, guys, and we'll have to see what happens. So I'm going to wrap up the stream in just a second. Do you guys have any last minute questions? I've been hearing really mixed things about Witcher Season 2. Yeah, so far I do really like it. But I know how it ends, and I know how much they change, and they go off the path from the books and the source material, and that's not good. Like, they fixed Triss's look. They made her look 100 times better. They changed the ball sack armor on the Nilfgaardians, made that look 100 times better. The CGI, they put so much more effort into the monsters in the CGI. Season 1 looked like a fucking 1990s fantasy series. It didn't look good. Not that every movie from the 1990s looked bad, but I think you guys know what I mean. The extremely low budget shit. It looked so bad in season 1. In season 2, they fixed it. The monsters look so fucking cool. They sound so much cooler. They act so much cooler. They are so much cooler. It feels so much more like the fucking Witcher. But they change around the story and people's personalities, and it just all goes to shit. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like if you don't know the books or games, you're going to have a better time with it. I truly still feel like the books are the best, obviously, but the games are really, really good. But, alright, you guys. I'm going to end the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. Thank you for the donations tonight, guys. All of the support. I will, I believe, be streaming again tomorrow. If you didn't see yesterday's video on the Matrix Resurrections, go and check it out. I've talked about Matrix over the past few days, Cowboy Bebop, several other things. So go and check out those videos. I will have a new video up tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be talking about D&D or Matrix, maybe.
Rover donated $100 for your
censorship
Mountain Dew fund. Also Amber Heard.
It was going so well. And then you just had to end it with Amber. Huh. Thank you so much for the $100 donation, Rover. I do really appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. Thank you guys, everyone, for your support tonight. But again, thank you, Rover, for the 100 smackaroonies. Maybe not the Amber Heard part, but for the rest of it, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, I will be streaming again tomorrow night. I'll have a new video up tomorrow. Check out yesterday's video. Had to get that Amber in. Yes, he did, Slick. Join our Discord server. We're very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of the live streams. Twitter, Minds, BitChute, Odyssey, all those links are in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Give the stream a like before you head out. We are at 80 likes. Always give it a like before you ditch. And yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.